Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us. We're broadcasting from the Thomas K. McKeon Center for Creativity, and I'm your host, Corey D. Taylor. My guest today is Angela Fischer. She's here to share her amazing story about what it is that she actually do behind the scenes in Hollywood. If you want to know what it's like to hear a different side of the industry of filmmaking, then you come to the right place. So stay tuned because this is Up Close with Corey Taylor. Hello and welcome back. Thank you for joining us. We are here with none other than Angela Fischer. How are you, ma'am?
How are you?
You doing good?
Yeah, doing good today. Doing great.
I'm so excited for you to be here. We've been talking about this for a while. Every show I say that with everyone. I was like, man, it's been hard to get you here because people are actually busy. And so my thing is that I'm so glad when people come to the show because I know people have very, very busy schedules. And your schedule is definitely busy now, but it's looking like it's getting ready to get busier. So with that being said, what have you been up to?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I definitely had a lot going on. I had the honor of working with David Talbert for the last 5 years. So I've been doing a lot of script editing for him, and he definitely has a lot of projects coming up and all the new things. So I'll definitely have an opportunity to work with him a little more.
Well, you dropped the bomb because I was going to wait to share with everybody what you did because it's so amazing that in the film industry, most people don't know. You know, when they see people, they're always thinking about the actor, the producers. And you remember there was a time when the actor was the most notable person. But in the era of the Jerry Bruckheimers and the Will Packards, now the producers are becoming just as famous as the actors, yes, if not more famous. And then there are people who are behind the scene like you that do script editing, that do lighting, that do grip, that do so many different things. And so tell me this, how did you get started with working with David?
That's a funny story. What happened is he was in Tulsa with one of his plays about 5.5 years ago. The play What My Husband Doesn't Know, and Morris Chestnut was in that play. The thing is, we don't see Morris Chestnut in Tulsa very often, and I really wanted to see Morris Chestnut. The thing is, I had to miss the play because I was at work that day, so I decided, I was thinking about the whole situation. I was like, how can I make this happen so I can still see Morris Chestnut? So I decided to, at that point I was at ORU, so I was able to walk around the Mabee Center where the play was at, and I was like, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna walk around the Mabee Center and just hope and pray I will walk into Morris Chestnut some kind of way. You never know what happens. So I ended up walking around the Mabee Center, and I'm extremely outgoing, just very social butterfly. I talk to anybody I encounter. So I walked around the Mabee Center, and I walked into David Talbert, not knowing who David Talbert is or who that person was or anything like that. And I just walked into him, started chit-chatting it up with him, and he started asking questions. It was just like, hey, what do you think about the play? Did you like it? And I was like, I'm sorry I had to miss it. I was at work, but, you know, I was still hoping I would see Morris Chestnut some kind of way. That's why I'm walking around here.
Chestnut.
And he just looked at me and was just like, well, you know, if you would have the opportunity to see the play, would you want to see it? And I said, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. He's like, okay, well, we are in Kansas next weekend, and I'll make sure I'll get you some tickets on the side so you can go see it, and then I'll make sure you'll meet the cast afterwards. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much, thank you so much. And he's like, you don't know who I am, do you? And I was like, no. But that was just me never being a respecter of person or a name. I just talk to anybody I encounter, and so I ended up talking to David Talbert. That's how it all started.
And that's so weird because a lot of people become, you know, by you having this innocence about not knowing who he was, I think that was a safe space for him because I know him being like, if you would have told me what you did years later, if you would have said, oh, I was just talking to David E. Talbert, like most African Americans at the time would have known exactly, we were like, and what did you do? And we'd have been like, what, did you connect? But by you having that innocence about not knowing who he was, I think that helped because in Hollywood, they always got people pulling on them, wanting favors, wanting to work and all this stuff. So it probably was a breath of fresh air for him to meet somebody who really didn't know who he was and they really can genuinely become friends with him because of not he's David E. Talbert, but because of who he is. So tell me a little bit. So now you go to Kansas City, you see the play. Did you ever get a chance to see Morris Chestnut?
Yes, we actually took a picture with him. Yep, we posted those on Instagram and Facebook, made sure everybody knows we met Morris Chestnut. Yes, I did.
And so on that encounter, it's so amazing that you went to a situation here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and you were going for one thing, but it seemed like you were being set up for something totally different that became a life-changing thing. So after you go to Kansas City, you meet Morris Chestnut, what you wanted. Then what happened after that?
Well, afterwards, I was supposed to see David and his wife Lynn after the play. The thing is, something came up, so they had to do something or whatever. So I still had his email address, and I just wanted to say thank you. We had an amazing girls' night out that night. We had a girls' trip to Kansas and everything. So I just wanted to say thank you and just really how much I appreciated that we had the opportunity to do that. So I sent him an email right afterwards, and from there on, he emailed me back, and then I decided to just email him. Every 1 or 2 weeks I send out the words of encouragement to a lot of people that are really close to me, and I just felt led to just put him on the list too and just send him that from time to time. So I started just staying in touch with him just with a word of encouragement every 1 or 2 weeks, just for him to keep his head up, to just keep going, to keep doing what he's been called to do. And then about 2 years later, he emailed me back and said, hey, I have a script I would like for you to read. Tell me what you think about it. So it was almost like God just telling him, hey, this is the girl for you to do that. So it was kind of funny how it all just fell into place and how smoothly it all happened. But he sent me that first script, and I started reading it, and I'm completely OCD when it comes to typos and those kind of things. So I started just highlighting everything that I would do different, things that I would change. I put a note to everything with just my opinion. I have no problem just giving you a piece of my mind. So I just started putting that on there and told him how I would change it, why I would change it, why I think that's not going to get to people, why this is absolutely amazing in getting to people, where it's absolutely amazing and I would not do any changes, how I would do things and those kind of things. And I just sent him back, and I guess that's what kind of got his attention, was like, okay, this girl is absolutely real with me, and that's what makes the difference.
And you know what? And that's hard to find in Hollywood. Me being out there, being around people, it's not a lot of genuine people because there's so many yes people. And the thing is, when you're a creative such as a David E. Talbert, you want genuine people around you who are going to tell you the truth so that you can become better, so that you can make things better. And then it takes, and a secure person, no, it takes nothing from their creative process. It just helps them refine and get it better. You know, like they say, 2 heads are better than 1. So you've been doing that. You've been working with David. And so you had a project that most people didn't know, and I want to preface this real quick. But I've been knowing you for some years now, and I meet you at the bank, and you're right, you're this social butterfly, and I met you at a bank, and I was talking to you, and I was laughing and cracking jokes, and you was like, hey, what's going on? And I was like, hey, where you from? You're not from here. And you was like, no, I'm from Switzerland. And I was like, no, you're not. I was like, say something. So do this for me. So people would know that you're the real deal. You're not, because sometimes people be like, I'm from here and here, and they're not really, but say something.
In Swiss German.
Yeah.
Okay, ich bin vor 13 Jahren von der Schweiz da gekommen.
See, I don't know what you just said, but I can tell that you're from there. So when I meet you, you are outgoing, and I'm like, wow, I'm like, she cool. And then I would see you at the different branches as you were doing your banking thing. And I remember my wife and I, we walked into another branch, and I saw you, and I was like, girl, what you doing at this branch? What's up? And then you was like, I'm just chilling. And you was like, hey, I want you to do something for me. And I was like, what? You was like, I want you to go see this movie. And I was like, okay, great. Like, and I was like, oh, it's a David E. Talbert movie. I was like, cool, I'm going to see it. And I was like, then you remember I said, wait a minute. How do you know about the movie? Because I haven't seen it previewed or anything. And you was like, well, I I work with David. I said, remember I came on Google, I said, what? What do you mean you work with David? Here you are in Oklahoma, and you're working with a guy who's been in the industry for years, and now he was getting ready to become, and he was on the rise. I mean, because this was over a year and a half ago when we talked about this a year ago, and he has been on the rise, and he's made so many movies, Baggage Claim and things of that nature, and then you tell me you're working with him, but you're in Oklahoma. So you remember, I was like, how does this happen? So tell me a little bit about, how do you feel like that whole connection happened for you? Because you're in Oklahoma, and so many people think, I can't do it in Oklahoma. So tell us.
I can just say the only connection is God. There's no other way to explain it in this, because it was funny. When I was 14, I started praying, and I was like, God, the only thing that I want to do is I want to have a higher influence of people, or people of higher influence. I want to make a difference on the people of higher influence, people that a lot of people look up to and listen to. And I told him that when I was 14, I remember that when I was praying that, I said, that's all I want to do in my life. I want to be the difference and make the difference. So that's just how it kind of happened. I mean, just how everything happened of me even ending up in Tulsa, in America. The first 10 years of my life, I legitimately was a mountain girl in this small little mountain town in Switzerland. So just how I ended up here it's just God. God just made it happen.
Now, I want you to tell that story, because I know that story, and it is actually the most amazing story. And here it was, like you said, like you were like 10 and you were in, I'm not going to steal your thunder. Tell the story.
Yeah, what happened is my mom got saved when I was about 7 or 8 years old, and she started
Okay,
praying.
so stop for a minute. For people that don't know what that is, what is saved? What does that mean?
Accepting Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior.
Oh, okay, because I mean, I understand church colloquialism sometimes, but some people don't. So go ahead.
Yeah, so she started praying. My biological parents, they separated when I was 2 years old. So my biological dad just kind of grabbed us and moved away from my mother, so my mother wouldn't see us for a long time. And so things just broke, our family broke, everything broke, and me and my brother, when I say we, me and my brother, we stayed with my biological dad, and there was a very, very broken part of the family. So when my mom got saved, when I was about 7 or 8, she started praying, and she just started praying for God to make a way for us to come back to her. So when we were 10, my biological dad just had enough of me and my brother, because we were
mountain kids.
Yeah, we were a handful, you could say. We were definitely not very easy. We were raised in a very hard way. So he ended up running up to my mother and said, I don't want the kids anymore. Do you want them? So that was an answer of prayer right there. So then...
Wait a minute, stop. You said you wanted, your mom was praying, and she wanted you all to be reconciled back with her because of the brokenness. And then, and the reason why I'm saying this, you said, but my dad says, I don't want us anymore. And that's an answer to prayer. And the reason why I'm saying that is because so many people that are viewing this will hear that and they will be like, oh, what a bad thing to say. But what made that positive because when we hear these type of stories, everybody be like, oh, that's the worst time of my life. But for you, you're like, it was an answer to prayer, and it was a positive thing.
Absolutely.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. For me and my brother, that was absolutely what we needed. Just because of everything that happened on the other side of the family, we really needed something positive in our life. So at that point, he just dropped us off at the door, told my mom he doesn't want us anymore, and my mom's prayer was answered, yes.
And was she in America, or was she still in Switzerland?
Switzerland. This is all still happening in Switzerland.
So he drops you all off at the door, and you're still in Switzerland, and then what?
So then what happens is my mom started praying for us to accept Jesus Christ as the Lord and Savior. And she wasn't pushy in any kind of way at all. She left that decision for us to make. But we ended up going to a church in Switzerland. And in Switzerland, we don't have any of those mega churches or those big famous whatever, anything. Like, it's just small little churches. So we ended up going to a church. And our pastor, as well as my godfather, actually went to Rhema. They graduated from the Rhema Bible Church and the Bible College in like 96 or 97. So when I was 11 or 12, I heard about the Rhema Bible college all the time, and I said one day I want to go there. So same, I was praying when I was 12, and I said, God, I would love to go to Rhema Bible College at some point. Just 2 years in Tulsa, I would love to do that. So my parents, with my godfather, ended up coming over here for the Winter Bible Seminar at some point. I think it was when I was about 13 or so. And they saw the church, they saw the college and everything, and then they came back after those 2 weeks of Winter Bible Seminar. And so I heard about it, and I said, I really know I have to go there one day. I just knew as a 13-year-old, one day I have to go there.
You had to be in America. You wanted to be...
Yes.
Because so many people have a hard time seeing themselves where they're going to be in the future. And here it is, you're 13 and you're already having your sights set on America when, I'm pretty sure your country is perfectly a fine place to be, but you feel like something is driving you or propelling you forward to go to America. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So then when I was 14 and I was praying to God, I just told him what I want to do for the rest of my life. I would have never thought me becoming an American or anything like that, but I was just like, I really do want to go to that college one day, but I didn't know when that's going to happen, maybe when I was 27, 28 or anything like that. What happened is when I was 16, I graduated high school and I did not find a job in Switzerland, and that was weird because I had good grades, I was good, I represented well, I was ethical, I had high integrity. It didn't make any sense why I could not find a job in Switzerland. And my parents, they had their own conversations with God at that point, and God spoke to every single one of them about going to Rhema at that point. So they ended up coming to my bedroom and they said, hey, do you still want to go to Rhema? And I said, yeah, sure. One day when I'm like 26, 27, yeah, why not?
And that's Rhema Bible College?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and so they came into the bedroom and I said, yeah, I would still love to do that at some point, absolutely. And they said, how would you feel about going now? And I was like, what? Like right now? Like at this point? And he's like, well, we would definitely have to send our applications in and everything and then go from there. But then one miracle after another happened. For one, I was only 16, so that's a miracle in itself that Rhema even allowed me to come to Rhema, because usually the students are 18 or older. But I'm pretty sure they made an exception to fact because my parents were with me and all that. But then just everything fell into place. We applied, we got accepted. Next thing you know, we're packing our bags, we're flying out. And at that point, we're just on a student visa thinking, okay, we're just going to be here for the 2 years in college and then we're going back home. That was the plan. So about 3 months after we lived here, I went and talked to my dad and I said, Dad, what do I have to do to become an American? And he was laughing and he's like, honey, you would have to marry an American. And he was just laughing and all that, and I was like, okay. So I walked back out, and then he just felt that he just should do some research about how is there another way to become an American. And at that point, the green card lottery still existed. And that's another funny story that it closed down a year after. So he really felt led to just apply for a green card. And we ended up putting our names in there. His name was picked. And that's another thing. His name was picked. I was still under 18. So because his name was picked, I was automatically in there too. And so our whole entire family a year later got the green card.
And then made y'all American citizens.
5 years later, yes, we took the tests. We became American citizens. And the good thing is we didn't have to give up the Swiss citizenship. So
wow. So you have dual citizenship.
Yes, sir.
Wow. So that's amazing. So you do all of that. And by the way, that's an amazing story. I just wanted you to share that. But I want to just take a turn a little bit, because a lot of people, because you're very bubbly, and people are looking, and then you talk about your God stuff. And tell me a little bit about, do you ever have challenges?
Oh, absolutely.
Because I'm seeing this bubbly side, and everybody's like, oh, it's because this is what people are gonna say. They're gonna discount your story. They're gonna say, oh, she's one of the church people, and things just happen for her la-di-da, but she never had any challenges. Now I could read between the lines when you said it was a good thing that your dad said, I'm done, you can have them. So that was a little indicator that there was something going on deeper within the family structure, because you kind of talked about that. But what about your own personal challenges on your way to being able to get to where you are right now?
Oh, there's challenges every day. Every day. I mean, it was, for me, even finishing the college degree, I kept failing classes over and over again. So I was like, am I just not smart enough? What am I doing wrong? Why am I not getting it? I can't do these tests. To relationship challenges every day, to health challenges every single day. I have a health condition that I'm struggling with at this point. So trust me, I do have my storms in life, absolutely.
And I hear that, because so many times when people hear people like you that are bubbly, and you have this enormous faith. That's what it sounds like. A lot of people think that people like you don't go through challenges, and they basically, and people are going to tell you, well, she just get everything handed to her own life and in life. And I'm hearing you say that this wasn't the case, And so what has been one of the hardest things that you think you've had to deal with on your road to getting to, because you have 2 degrees now, you have bachelor's and master's degree. You dreamed when you were a little kid to come to America and be an American citizen. That has happened. But what was probably one of your biggest challenges on the way?
I would say the biggest challenge for me was to overcome the brokenness that was inside of me. I've been hurt from a very young age, especially by men. And for me, that was the biggest thing, is to really overcome the brokenness and just trust again, and not just think of every person being the same way, and forgiving and letting go, knowing I'm forgiving and that's what's the good for me, not for the other person. I am broken because I'm holding on to grudges, and I am broken because I haven't forgiven. But that's not hurting anybody else but me. And I think that is what I would say is the biggest challenge that I ever had to overcome, was just really seeing every person as the person that they are. Not seeing color, not seeing where they're coming from, not seeing or hearing an accent or anything like that, but just really seeing a person as they are and looking at their heart and their character instead of just judging them.
Now I want to digress, because you just said something. You said, when you say being hurt by men, what does that mean?
There was a lot of brokenness when I say that, as of by people in our family, where it caused a lot of hurt in our family on my dad's side, on my biological dad's side. And ever since my dad dropped us off at my mom's house, we never heard from him again. My biological dad has not been in our life. Now, the good thing is God completely turned around. He's given us a stepdad that's been more a dad than anything that anybody could ever ask for. And he's taught me how to be loved, and how to be just the way you are, and just being you. And just, I know that I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for my stepdad being at my side every step of the way, and really just helping me through everything, and just really showing me what it means to be a dad to a daughter, and just really loving a daughter the way a daughter needs to be loved.
Yeah. Now, here's the one thing. Now, I want to shift gears, because here it is, you're working with David E. Talbert, and I heard you say this before, and he's in Hollywood. And, you travel, you were in did you make it into the piece of the last movie?
The premiere?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you made it to the premiere, but then you said something that most people probably would find weird. You said, well, I'm doing all of this stuff with Hollywood, but I don't want to live in Hollywood. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I ended up going to the premiere in November, and I was in LA once before for a mission trip, but it was completely different because it was for a different purpose. But I ended up flying to San Diego. My best friend is in San Diego in law school right now, so I was with her for a couple of days, and then we drove to LA. So just driving into LA itself, I was like, oh my God, this city is not the answer for me. But I didn't say anything, and I went to the premiere, and we watched the movie and everything. And then that night, we ended up going out, having fun, you know, seeing the city of LA a little bit and everything. And in the morning after, we were driving out. And while we were driving out, we were stuck in traffic, and it was just like, people just seemed crazy, and it was just like, I was just like, I cannot live in this city. There's too many people. Again, I'm from a very small country. Our biggest city is not very big, and so it's the biggest city is about the size of Tulsa, and I never even lived in that city. So it was, for me, it was just really challenging seeing so many people all in one place, and everybody thinking they're all that, and having everybody moving out of the way, and it's just like, there's just the friendliness missing that I kind of need. And so I was just like, I cannot live in this city. So we were driving out, and as we were driving out, we were just talking, and we were just listening to music, and we were just chit-chatting it up, and I just started crying, and I said, Zaina, I love doing what I do. I love doing the script editing. I love being in productions. I love doing what I can do. But I cannot move to LA. LA is not the city for me. I don't want to live here. I don't want to, like, I have no problem flying out here for different events and being here but this is not my city at all. So.
Wow, and that's amazing because I actually love LA and New York. My wife would say something totally different. Okay, so with that being said, you're definitely on the rise, definitely doing your thing. You're in a play right now that and what is it called?
It's called Turn the Page.
Turn the Page, and so that's going to be, how long is it going to be running?
It's only going to be for a weekend in Tulsa.
I don't know. I think it's going to pass. It's going to be what, in a couple of months or a month and a couple of weeks or what?
Yeah, it's going to be end of July, beginning of August.
Okay.
We're trying to get it in for 2 weekends. We're trying our best to get it in for that. And then we might be able to do it again afterwards, where we're just not completely sure about as far as the agenda goes.
And the movie that you were working on with David, the last one?
That was Almost Christmas.
And that should probably be coming to DVD soon or
that
online?
already came on
it's
DVD,
on DVD.
a month ago,
okay,
1.5 months ago.
Yeah, so hopefully people will get a chance to go see that and get to see how you were in there working to shape the script and everything. So this show, Up Close with Corey Taylor, is all about helping people to understand what it would take for them to go and be successful. In about 10 seconds, tell us, what do you think it takes for a person to go and be successful?
It's the heart. It's the heart, and whatever it takes for you to go there. You really have to want it and then just go with it.
Well,
fight the good fight.
Thank you so much for
Absolutely.
coming. Look forward to talking to you again.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate
All right,
it.
no problem.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed our show today. I would like to thank our amazing guest, Angela Fischer, for joining us. Think about this. Change is inevitable, but your attitude towards that change, it is always optional. Until next time, keep looking forward.